Welcome to How to Play Cricket. This is the professional coaching guide, and today we've got an interesting development. He's a Middlesex Colts player who's played under 12s to under 15s age group. He's pretty much got the yips, he's bowling beamers, long hops, he's lost his confidence. So I'm here to figure out what the problem is. So he's seen my videos online and he obviously likes what he's seen, so he's called me over so I can try and rectify his mistakes and figure out what the problem is. Now when someone says to me, guys, bowling beamers and bowling long hops, there's one thing that comes to my mind straight away. His head alignment. His eyes are not level. He's probably bowling with a tilted head. That's usually a simple case, and if that is the case and I haven't seen the guy, I should know how to rectify it. The problem here is he's actually been coached on the county setup for quite a few years now. The coaches haven't actually done anything to rectify the mistakes they've tried supposedly, but it's come back even worse. He's had two private coaches in his time. They're both first-class cricketers. One is an international player. None of them could actually rectify his mistakes. Don't ask me what's happening in the coaching circuit. So let's have a look at his action here. It took me only 2 balls to realise what the problem was. And it was exactly what I expected. His head position was all over the place. And that is a result of other problems. So if you have a look at this, his centre of gravity is somewhere along the red line. The green line is his body position. It's tilted. Now, tilting isn't a big problem because people outside Ajmal used to tilt backwards and then they used to rotate forward to create a whip motion that creates extra pace on the delivery. The problem with him is he's actually tilting his body sideways. Yes, some people do it when they're trying to bowl dual-sides, they lean over, but this is now an off-spinner trying to bowl genuine off-spinners and he's leaning sideways. So he's in this position right now where his leg is across himself and as a result his arm is to the left, so he's now in a good balanced position. This is the only way he can actually balance himself. He has to bring the yellow lines in so they're more towards the centre of his gravity. And to do this, he needs to bring his leg round, and as a result, his arm should be coming around here. And now both leg and arm should be more towards the centre of the red line. So if you have a look at these 4 cricketers, Gareth Batty, Nathan Lyon, Syed Ajmal and Sakil Mushtaq, their back foot and their head are parallel. And at no stage do they ever tilt. Yeah, Syed Ajmal is tilting, but he's tilting backwards. That's why his back foot and his head are in line with each other. So if you have a look at Nathan Lyon, his leg does go across himself a lot, but that doesn't actually affect his bowling because his body's actually tilted slightly forward more than all the other bowlers. And as we know, Nathan Lyon does have a very high right knee where he does lift it up to follow through. So the next thing to look at is his arm position. If you have a look at his arm, it's at 11 o'clock. You can't bowl it from 12 o'clock. It is more recommended to bowl something around the lines of 12:30s. When you're bowling it from here, this is a variation. You can bowl these to bowl sliders or arm balls, but he's doing this as a stock delivery, and that's not right. So I need to make sure now to rectify that part because his tilting over is affecting his arm position. If his arm was at 12:30, it will be in a much more better position to bowl genuine off spin. Now just to show one more example, Gareth Batty, Nathan Lyon against Syed Ajmal, Sakil Mushtaq, all 4 of them have got upright arms. They're either 12 o'clock or 12:30. Gareth Batty and Sakil Mushtaq have slightly round arm actions. Nathan Lyon and Syed Ajmal do come straight over the top at 12 o'clock, but at no stage will any of these bowlers ever be bowling at 11:30 or 11 o'clock. And another thing I noticed is one of the reasons why I do record my coaching sessions because there's always things you can pick up when you go back to it. His foot position is pointing towards, say, gully, and it shouldn't be. Whenever you're bowling, if you're fast bowler, leg spinner, whatever bowler, your front foot should be pointing towards the batsman. The only reason his front foot is pointing towards gully is because of a balance issue. He's only doing this because he's tilting over and his arm's coming from 11 o'clock. So to stabilise himself, he's opened his leg up. And another thing the bowler does, which a lot of people don't usually pick up, is angle of run-up. So he runs in straight, but then he has a little jump where he comes into the wicket. Now, there's nothing wrong about jumping into the wicket. A lot of bowlers do it, but the thing is, when he does it in such a way where he does lean backwards and his front leg does go across himself as a result. So here you can see in slow motion his run-up and then the jump across. You can see his leg going across himself, he's tilting his body, and his arm comes around at 11 o'clock. So there's a lot of little minor adjustments that need to be done to this bowler. So the first thing I did was to make sure I put a few cones out to make sure he doesn't jump across himself. So within 20 minutes, I've now got to a position where I've actually rectified a lot of his mistakes. He was more balanced. The yellow lines which we saw at the beginning, they've gone in half. So his leg has definitely now come round more. and his arm is come round from here to about here. It's still not perfect, but this is only 20 minutes into the session, so I'm very impressed that he's taken so much advice for what I've given him. So here's a comparison to what he was burning at the start of the day and what he ended up 20 minutes later. So you can see there's definitely a difference. He's straightened up his body, his legs going around, he's actually got more of a stable base when he's burning now. The yellow lines have definitely decreased, and this is what the aim of the game was, to bring it more towards the center of gravity, which is a red line. But it's still not perfect. This is only 20 minutes into the session. So this is part 1, and part 2 you'll see a live demonstration of me in a coaching session with him and how I rectify his burning mistakes. So the best thing to do now is subscribe to the channel so you can see the future videos and you can see his tutorial and how he progresses. You want to see, does he actually become a better cricketer than he is? Will he make it into the county circuit again as a genuine off spinner?
Yorker is hit into the gap, and that's 50. Incredible stuff, really is one hell of a batting effort from him. He loves it, the fans are loving it, the dugout is incredibly happy because they're seeing a sensational 50 here.